Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I think you're muted. I unmuted you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
What a palaver. We are
I
having technical
know.
issues, guys. And so we couldn't get on. There was like overlays and everything, but we're here now. Welcome to Gym Time. And, we're obviously going to have to edit this one because of all of the technical issues that we had to start off with. But it is great to be on once again. How are you doing, Paul?
Yes, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. A long day. I'm on an exercise program, so I feel kind of fit tonight and tired at the same time. Do you know what I
Oh,
mean?
you've been in the gym.
Yeah,
Gym
yeah, yeah,
time, gym
yeah.
time.
Gym time. Get your motivation. Yeah, and it's true, because it's like it motivates you, really does, and it's really good and refreshing to have your mind motivated as well. Looking at relationships and just growing, because I know I've grown a lot,
Mhm.
as a man, and as a person, definitely. My knowledge is, uh, I won't say it's on point, but I'm getting it.
But you're getting there. That's awesome.
Yeah. So,
Sorry, that's awesome. So,
and you've been
do you
well?
want? Yeah, I've been fine. Been fine. Can't complain.
Yes.
I'm giving God
You
thanks
can't.
every day for His goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, do you want to
Definitely.
fire away with what the name of our show is tonight, and then do your disclaimer?
Yes, I will. So we are on tonight. We're going to be talking about why won't my partner change me? Yeah.
For me.
Why? Oh,
For
oh,
me.
yeah. There. Why won't my change? Why won't my partner change for me? Nah, yeah, put my teeth in. Um, and it's a wonderful subject because, as you will see as we go along, my disclaimer is, again, we're here to motivate, um, empower you to grow, empower you to expand your mind, empower you to work on your relationships, not just your marriage, but relationships with other people as well, to look at things from a different perspective than just having a tunnel vision that we sometimes can have. So we're here that you can try and adapt or apply some of these strategies to your relationship, and hopefully that they will work. But if they don't work, and my favorite saying, don't cut we neck. We now, because I was corrected, don't cut we neck. So that's my
Exactly.
disclaimer.
So,
And
what?
hello Instagram, Facebook,
Yeah, we
where do
forgot
you
to
watch this?
involve you Instagram. So hi to you guys over there in Instagram world, and welcome
Indeed.
to Gym Time. If you have any problem and experience any technical problems over there, you're more than welcome to join us over here on YouTube and join the chat, because we at the moment I can't bring you guys up, so you can chat with us here on YouTube. Go to Maurice and Debbie Gym Time and you will find us. So my disclaimer is pretty much the same as my brother's. We are here to encourage, uplift, and inspire you. There's so many challenges and just good things that has happened in our lives, and we really want to share that with you. It's not all doom and gloom, trust me. There are
Mhm.
things that we've experienced, and they have been really positive and productive and helped us to go through many, many challenges in relationships. And whilst we might not get everything right, the reality is that some of what we are doing must be right. And, we want to share some of that with you, as well as our knowledge, also the knowledge of what we get when we do our research and when we speak to other people. We are here to share that with you. And my slogan is, I might not know it all, but what I do know, I will share with you. So
Absolutely.
over to you then, Paul. Do you want to kick off?
Yes. Well, I was going to kick off with the video, and then
Okay.
we'll comment on the video, and we'll go through different things. Hello,
Yeah.
whoever's in the chat as well.
Hi, welcome, welcome. So I wanted to say this was inspired, this conversation, this episode was inspired by this video. And so we're going to share the video with you, and then you can see why it inspired us to have this conversation with you all. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully you guys will be able to see this. So here we go. Can you see that, Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can change for your partner without changing who you are. This is something that I really struggle with when my wife would tell me she needed me to change things that I felt like just was who I was as a person. And I realized that that wasn't true. You know, if she was asking me to talk to her differently than I talk to my family or my friends, why can't I do that? If she's asking me to give her more attention, why can't I do that? If she's asking me to wring out my bath towels after I'm done taking a shower and hang them on the rack, why can't I do that? These are just skills that I need to build. It's not really changing who I am, because who I am is always who I'm going to be. I can't change the core of my being, but I can build and acquire the skills that I need to communicate to her and love her and show her affection how she needs. It's all about knowing who you are as a person and not confusing that with skills that you need to build to love the person who you say that you love. So acquire those skills, because they will go a long way, and it has nothing to do with who you are as a person.
Fantastic.
Right. So I hope that that has helped you guys to understand where we're coming from, why we thought that this conversation was necessary. So also, along with the title, why won't my partner change for me? We've also put there at the bottom, if you can, I don't know if you can see it. Let me bring it up here in the captions. So we've got why won't we change for me? And then we've got change versus upskilling. What is the difference? So change
Yes.
versus upskilling. What is the difference? So you saw from that video that the essence of that man wasn't being changed, but he was basically being upskilled. And I think that
Upskilled.
it's important for you to understand, for us to understand, whether somebody is trying to change us or whether they're trying to upskill us. And I think that the two of these get mixed up. I think that a lot of people, when they are in relationships, they're saying, please don't change me. Please don't change me. This is who I am. This is, you know, what I've done all my life. And I think that fundamentally, we all have to change. We all are changing. I mean, the other week we was talking about menopause and marriage, because as a woman, in the whole perimenopause phase, I'm changing. I'm not going to remain the same. None of us is going to remain the same. We're going to get older, you know, we're going to get grayer, hopefully get wiser. You know, we are forever changing and we are evolving. However, the fundamental things about us might not change, but there will be things that we can learn along the way that we will consider to be upskilling. So yeah, over to you then, Paul.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like this very much, because it is about upskilling. It is about as you said, we're getting older, you know, and I was looking at it from the perspective of that, you know, this saying, you can't teach your old dog new tricks.
Tricks.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
No, no,
I
do
don't
I?
agree with that. I think there's a negative right there. That's to tell you, I ain't changing for no one.
Mm.
Yeah, but we're not looking at core changes. Yeah, we're looking at skills. You know, uh, for instance, mummy taught us. Mummy used to say to me about I should learn to iron. Yeah, I should learn how to do things for myself, so that I don't have to rely on a woman to do it for me. And as time went on, I understood why I now had those skills, because when I had someone saying, "Ain't washing your clothes, ain't doing nothing for you," I was able to still stand on my own 2 feet. So there was a skill that was given to me, and some of it was learned, you know, but I learned those things. Then meeting somebody who couldn't cook, instead of like, because I was watching a video the other day, and the man said, "Nah, if she can't cook, that's it, done." Yeah, woman have to know how to cook. Yeah, in but it isn't just a woman that is, I might learn that, I might know how to cook, and maybe, you know, if we done a show on uh dating the opposite sex, they might not cook your food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now she might feel less than, because you can't cook your food, but you teach her how to cook the food that you like. Then now if she rejects that, then that's a whole different subject, you know. But it's the way you go about it. It's the way you bring it into your relationship, as opposed to cuss her off and tell her, "Well, can I afford this? Oh, it bland so. Yeah, why is the food so bland? Did you put seasoning in it?" Yeah. See, that's offensive. Then you're not going to get the best out of her. But if you give her the skills, give her the tools to learn how to adapt, she might say, "I don't like cooking," but it might be because you doesn't know how to cook. Yeah, or
Absolutely.
him. Yeah, and it's an easy way to get out. I don't like cooking, but I like your cooking. Yeah, but there's a time when you're gonna have to cook, or you find the balance. She might do all the clean. Who was I talking to? I was talking to someone the other day. I don't know. I don't remember who it was, and they said that they just don't like cooking. Oh, it's today down at the school. I said to the person that the food that they gave to me and Catherine was lovely, you know. Or can you cook again? Yeah, and she said, "Oh, what, my mum?" I said, "What? Your mum cooked it?" She said, "Yeah." So but the way it was presented, we thought it was her. But she said, when it comes to cleaning and everything else, I'm really good at that. You know, I don't mind doing all of that. And so you might be in a relationship like that, that person is really good at cleaning, or really good at sewing, or whatever it is, you know, as opposed to putting the person down because they don't meet your need, because you want her to cook or want him to cook. Find the balance. You know, you can find that balance. But I want to go back to the video. He said something that was key to me in there. And it was the way that you speak to me.
Yeah.
I used to say to Catherine, "Oh, don't disrespect me," you know, because expressing themselves. I learned that people do express themselves differently. But it's okay to tell, and it's okay to say to your partner, I'd prefer you to talk to me more gentle, you know. I prefer you to not use negative connotations when you're talking to me like that, because it makes me feel like. Now, some people will say, well, that's me. That's the way I just express myself in it. But if you're in a relationship and you want the relationship to work, surely you'd find a better way, because this is the person that you said you love. This is your life partner. This is the person you chose to be with. Whether it's a woman or a man, you've chosen this person. Now, I know another thing we said about how you talk to your friends and your family. Some people, they're on the phone with their friends. Yeah, I know, you know, but you don't talk to your man or your woman like that and laugh and joke with them in the same manner. Nah, it should be that person that you love, that person that you're with, that person that you said you married, or the person you married. You should go out of your way to please them, because you want to, because this is the love of your life. Now, some of us are stumped in our growth. Some of us are not articulate enough to be able to translate what we're thinking, so we translate it in a negative way or a defensive way. Now, the truth of the matter, like with myself, I learned that if I'm offended by something, say I'm offended by that. Say I didn't understand that, so that the person can break it down. Now, if it's a woman that you're saying to and say, "You're stupid," are you stupid? It don't you understand what I'm saying? Then you know it's going to cause conflict. But if you then hear the man or hear the woman saying to you, "I don't understand," express yourself, so that that person can adjust. Yeah, adjust to what you're saying, so it becomes a skill to them now to say, yeah, I understand some of the things that Catherine, well, what Catherine says to me, my wife. And I might not, at first I didn't like how she used to say certain things, but she expresses it in a gentle way. Still, she might elevate her vocals a little bit, not shouting at me, because shouting at me, yeah, that's shouting. But someone might, the decibels, or what do you call it, the octave, whatever, goes up a little bit when they're trying to express themselves.
Right.
You know, don't be offended by that. Don't be hurt by that, because it's the content of what's coming out their mouth. As long as they're not trying to put you down. If she wants you to wring out the rag, wring out the rag. There isn't a problem with that. If she wants support in something, like my wife sings, yeah. If you ask her that, I support her. I support her wholeheartedly. I met her singing, yeah. So I ain't gonna say, oh, well, no, you know, I know you like singing, but you know, you can't sing some rock. Some R&B, yeah, because you're always singing gospel. Can't you sing something else? You know, even if I like rock, then you can say, baby, can you sing this song? Let me just see you singing this a minute. Yeah. Or if she knows you like that kind of tune, that's not nasty, not rock. You know, she might do that for me, a love song, because she does sing other songs. I'm putting her out there, innit? she does sing at weddings and funerals, etc. Come and see me and I'll tell you
the
manager. Yeah. You know, but it's about, we say every single time, mostly in every single show, we've said this thing: communication. Yeah. I want to learn new things. Yeah. I want to grow. I want, like, for instance, I'm going to give you, for instance, I can bake, but I'm not a good baker. I'm not a good cake maker. Yeah. And I said to Catherine the other day, I had some, I'd done a juice and I got the pulp left. So I said to her, could you just tell me how to do this? Because I want to make a cake out of this, you know? You know what my wife said to me? Do you know what she said to me, Debbie?
No.
She said, I'm not going to tell you. We're going to do it together. Yeah. What's she doing? She's going to teach me.
Absolutely.
How to bake properly. Not just tell me. We're going to be together, included in this. There's inclusion as opposed to this, oh, just do it like that. Yeah. I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn a new skill because she can bake. I can cook.
Yeah.
Catherine can cook. And we'll debate on who's the better cook, but hey, we're both good cooks, you know. But I cannot bake, and I want to learn how to bake properly. Yeah. Now I'm not puffed up with pride to say, yeah, well, you know, what I bake is good anyway. It is nice, but it could be better. So I'm willing to adapt or bring about a change to the way I cook. So she's gonna upskill me. You know, so I'm upscaling to learn to be a good baker. Does that make any sense at all of that?
Yeah, let us know in the chat what you think of the topic, what you think about what Paul just shared. I think that, like I said in the beginning, that oftentimes people can be set in their ways. And because they're set in their ways, they don't want no one to change them. But when we spoke about it, when we was talking about love a few weeks ago, it's you having the desire to love that person and become selfless, you know, so that it's not just all about you and how you feel and so forth. So at the beginning, and you guys that are joining us a bit late, you can go back and watch the video, because it was a video that we actually had which really inspired this topic about why won't my partner change for me. And it's not about them necessarily changing for you, but rather upscaling, learning new things, doing different things in order for you and their relationship to be better. So there is a difference between changing someone, wanting to change the fundamental things about someone, which typically is the reason why you probably got with them in the first place. Like, for instance, you meet somebody and they're very talkative. Me and my brother's very talkative, outgoing, very bubbly character. After you've been with them for a little while, oh, you're always talking, you're always meeting new people, you're always like in the room, just, you know, greeting people, you're social butterfly. And that's how you met that person. That's how you probably was intrigued by them and desire to be with them. Now you're desiring to change who they are fundamentally. That isn't what we're talking about. Your desire should never really be to try and change somebody fundamentally, but rather what you might see within that person is their ability to command a room, to be that social butterfly. So you might say, you know, I think it will probably be good if you started speaking at events. I think that it would be good if you started doing a podcast. I think it's good. So you're enabling them to be upskilled. Now, in your relationship, if there's things that you and your partner, for instance, in that video, the young guy was talking about his wife wanting him to speak to her differently to how he speaks to his friends and his family and so forth. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's showing exclusivity. Getting my tongue tied. Making her feel exclusive. You know, that she's not just the run of the mill, she's just not anybody, and there's no harm in doing that. You know, I'm challenged with the way how people will speak to me, and because I know that I speak to people decently. I even had a situation today. I always speak to people decently. Not that you can't rub me up the wrong way and you see another side of me, but primarily I speak to people decently and respectfully, because that's how I want to be spoken to. When someone tells you no, they're not willing to speak to you decently, how can you even say that you really want to be in that relationship? How can you say that you love somebody but you want to speak to them anyhow? Now, you speaking to your spouse decently, not only will it enrich your relationship, but if you've always spoken to people like that, and your wife, your husband is now saying there's a better way that you can speak. You know, I know people who every other word is a swear word, you know, and so when they're speaking, they're speaking like that. Now, if you were encouraging them to speak differently, you will be empowering them to be upskilled, so that when they go out there, they're not just going to be talking to any old person with that swearing vocabulary, you know. And so I think that it's important for us to look at the difference between upskilling, and you wanting to change someone. So what is one of the fundamental things that you think that people like to try and change about someone, Paul?
Their friends. Yeah, their friends, the people that they have around them. Now, I'm of the opinion, if you have friends, and normally they would, or you, especially as a single person, you've done all these things with those friends, and now you're in a committed relationship, or you're married. I would say, let's go as far as marriage. You're not single no more. And if you are in a committed relationship, you're not single no more. You've told this person, I'm in this for the long haul. Yeah. She wasn't a one night stand. He wasn't a one night stand. You're going months, you're going years, together. You've pushed, got engaged, or you're married. You're no longer single. So some of your friends might still be single. I don't believe that you should be moving. This is just my core opinion. Moving with your single friends like how you used to, while you're in a committed relationship. That's my opinion. The person who is now, let's say, your party, your brethren, your lover of your soul, is the person you're with. So some of the friends will lead you astray. If they're not people like that leading you astray, those are the people you can bring home to your house. and that they don't mind sitting down and having dinner with your wife, your partner. Yeah, friends. You have to be careful about these friends, and careful which friend you're telling things to. Yeah. Um. Oh, Margaret was saying her parents. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's a
true.
classic one. That's a classic one.
Hmm. See, you see, as a man, I said friends because women normally tell you about your friends, yeah, and men tell women about how they look. Yeah, you in that? No, no, no. You see, I watched another video one time, and I wish I had it here now. There's a man interviewing women, and they're out in short skirts and cleavage and everything going on. And he said, "Are you single?" And she said, "Yes." And she said, he asked her this question: if you was with someone in a committed relationship, would you dress like that? Now, I watched other ones first of all, and they said, "Yeah, I ain't gonna, I'm not gonna let anybody change the way I dress." So the question was asked: aren't you giving off uh, um, a message in the way that you're dressed? Because you're gonna get attention, and so isn't it saying that you're available by the way that you dress? Yeah, according to how some men look and some men think. Yeah, this is my bit that I'm putting on. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that if I was like me being married now, that Catherine's out with all cleavage going on, really short skirt and everything else like. But there's a way how you talk. But she might say, "Well, this is how I say." She said, "This is how I was always dressing." Yeah, and this is how I feel. I feel comfortable like this. Yeah, and I say, "But I'm not comfortable with everything showing, and I can even see your knickers now. You know, with your how short your skirt is. That doesn't play well in a marriage or in a relationship. You should be covering up. You don't want everybody else gawping at you. Yeah. And if you do, you have to question why.
I saw a video
Why?
today actually, and they had this woman and she was dancing and her partner was in the background, but she was like very, seductive dancing. And the question was, why would a man be comfortable with his wife or his woman posting videos like that online? And the thing is, you don't know, they could have had the conversation. She's like, "You're not changing me." I'll do whatever I want to do. But the reality is for instance, say that we go along with what Margaret said and it's about her parents. Now, with the example that you gave, Paul, you can encourage that woman or that man to dress differently that is going to benefit them, not just in the relationship, but when they go out, they're not going to be drawing attention to themselves. They're not going to having to bat off men or women that is trying to make advances towards them. And so it's important for us to look at what it is that we are doing that we can change and be upskilled. So being upskilled is different from you changing yourself fundamentally. And I really want to put that out there. You learning something new, you doing something new that is going to benefit you, that is going to you can use that thing in the future time and time again. So it's not just
Yes.
something that you're just doing now just for that person, but now you've evolved. So for instance, there are people and they speak in a particular way, they don't have a large vocabulary, and you're now teaching them various words. You can be upskilled like that. You don't have to remain the same. And I think that the struggle is as you get older and you've been set in your ways for so long, you feel as though this is you fundamentally. There's aspects of you that is not going to change. And I totally get that, and I know that you get that, Paul. But other things should change about you, and we shouldn't be in the habit of trying to change people fundamentally, but really look about upskilling them and helping them so that they can become better people. And I think that most of the time when people are talking, they're talking about, oh, nobody don't want to change me. So for instance, that you're struggling with certain foods, probably having digestive problems and so forth, and somebody turns around and say, I think you should probably cut out this or try and change this in your diet. If you're gaining excessive weight and you're having heart problems, you're having blood pressure, diabetes, and somebody's saying, you know what, I think it might be good if you was to change your diet, you know, do some exercises. No. Why are you trying to change me? Why are you trying to change what I'm eating? Why are you trying to like, that's upskilling you. That isn't you fundamentally, because that weight is not you. That weight is excess baggage. You get what I mean? But there are some people that are so hardwired, set in their ways. You're a smoker. Your partner's trying to encourage you to stop smoking. Do you get what I mean? Why don't you get a patch? Why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? Or why are you trying to change me? You met me and I was smoking and now you're trying to change me. Hello, they're trying to upskill you. They're trying to help you so that you'll be more healthy, so you're not going to be susceptible to other various diseases and so forth. But that person will be saying, why are you trying to change me? Like in my mind, sometimes when I think about it, I just think it's kind of crazy. Like, it's not going to benefit you. Like, it's not going to benefit your teeth. Like, it's not going to benefit your lungs. Like, it's not going to benefit your health.
You know, they know. I'm of the opinion that they know, but it's
I think so, but hardwired.
Some people don't want you, that woman, that man, to tell them.
When they go to the doctors and the doctor says to them that you got diabetes and high blood pressure and so forth, and you need to lose weight and you need to exercise, then they will quickly say, right, I'm gonna change. But then this is the point that we're making. You making those changes and upskilling and becoming better will enrich you and enrich your partner. And if you are not willing to do it for the person that you say I love and walk down the aisle with, or intended to walk down the aisle with, or been in a long-term relationship, whatever you want to call it, then why are you with that person? Why are you with that person? Why are you saying to them, I love you, and all of the trimmings? But the reality is that you're not even prepared to listen to what they're saying.
And see, the thing about it is that arrogance is a horrible negative thing, because she's telling me, or because he's telling me, I'm not going to listen to that. But isn't that person telling you something or suggesting something the best person to be telling you, because they know you live with them? You know, I was reading about, there are people who, and I was talking to someone as well, that inherently as a race of certain people, or culture, that's the word I want, certain cultures, there is arrogance. There is an arrogance about that person. They don't want to change. This is how I am. This is how it is. Listen, what my dad did is not me. What my foreparents done, they're not this relationship. How they run their relationship, they ran their relationship. Yeah. But no one asked, did he or she, were they unhappy? I was reading something in psychology today, and it says unhealthy relationships might make you a worse person. Self-growth doesn't always mean gains in positive trials or behavior. Sometimes self-growth can pull you towards unhealthy habits or behavior, or make you more anxious, whiny, crude, or hurtful. The potential negative changes from relationships reveal the importance of your partner's choice in entering a relationship. You risk becoming, let me say that bit again. The potential negative changes from relationships reveal the importance of your partner's choice. In entering a relationship, you risk becoming someone you might not wish to be. Now, there is a truth there. You're setting yourself these unhealthy habits. And how many relationships did you go in with these unhealthy relationships? How many exes do you have? Because you've gone into it with these unhealthy habits. I don't want anybody telling me anything. No, I'm not going to fold up my clothes. No, I'm leaving my clothes on the floor. What? Just leave it. Just leave it. Yeah. My socks is fling over all over the place. Listen, when you were young, unless your mother and father didn't care, you had to pick up your clothes. Yeah. Like for instance, I'm gonna use one. This is something I don't like, but I've been in relationships with people doing this, and I'll tell you what I done instead. Please, bear with me, yeah, because I talk straight already. I don't like people leaving doo-doo in the toilet. Yeah, I don't. Or flash up on the side. Please don't. I'm telling you the truth. I don't like it. I turn and I'll wipe. I'll use a wipe or whatever tissue and wipe the toilet, or use a brush. I don't really use a brush anymore because brushes are unhealthy. So I'll use a wipe or tissue and I'll wipe and clean the toilet after myself. I don't like when I go there and I lift up to go to the toilet and I see excrement. If you for the posh people, excrement, okay, doo-doo in the toilet, or these children.
I don't think anyone does, but I think that some people, they don't look behind them, and then when you bring it to their attention, they might get vexed.
Right, but some people will go back and do it again and again and again, and to lift up the toilet seat when you finish and it's flushed, just look. Yeah, I mean, some people don't flush the toilet with the lid down, but I've learned to do that as well. That's, again, it was a woman that told me that. Yeah, they watch something and all the germs that flash out. So regardless of your mat around the toilet or whatever you got around your toilet, it flushes out. So all of that is flushing onto the floor. How unhygienic. But someone taught me that. Yeah? Someone taught me that if I go away and they have a radiator, I don't have to go home with dirty underwear. Yeah, I learned that from a woman. Yeah, because she was doing it, and I'm watching and I'm saying, "Oh, is that what you do? Wash out?" And she said, "Yeah," because sometimes you might, even on the holiday, you might bring 50 pair of knickers. And you only wear 4. Yeah, because you washed them out, they're dried, you're in the bathroom, you reach for the next one, you put it on, you wash that one, and so on and so forth. I've learned that lesson. Again, I know it's a small thing that I'm talking about, but it's giving me a skill.
That count. It's the small things that count, because people say it as a joke and they're like, oh, closing the toilet seat, but just with that example that you just used, where somebody will get really annoyed, I keep on telling him to close the toilet seat, I keep on telling him to close the toilet seat. Like, if he learned that by you leaving the toilet seat open and you flush the toilet seat, all those germs go into the air and land on like your toothbrush, maybe you will close the toilet. Maybe you would close the toilet.
Or for men peeping up around the toilet. What's that all about?
Absolutely. Yeah? But you know where it is? I think that, like going back to what I said, people are hardwired, and because they're set in their ways, and they take that on as their identity, and they take it on as though this is who I am. And nobody fundamentally wants anybody to change who they think they are. But if they're able to detach those things and who they actually are, then it makes it easier, because you'll realize, no, I'm not that individual. I can actually, by me changing these things, this can upskill me. This can change the person I am in a good way. Fundamentally, no, we're not looking at the fundamentals right now, but what we're looking at is the things that we say, this is who I am, this is what I've done, this is how I've always done it. And the thing is as well, if you've been in a relationship with someone and they had no problems with you taking off your socks, leaving them on the floor and picking up after you, if that's the case, that's fine. But when you meet somebody else who's now saying that that's a problem for them, the desire is for that person to do better. So you putting your stuff in the linen basket is it's nothing. It really isn't nothing. It will make you a tidier person. That's what it will do. It will make you be a tidier person, a happier person, because your husband or your wife is going to be more happier with you because you're listening to them. But don't take on the things like that as somebody who you are.
Me.
No, it's like, how can you use that as part of your identity? That's not your identity. That's something that you do. Do you get what I mean? That's something that you do. You smoke. You might overeat.
You bite your nails.
But those are habits. Those are things that you do. That is not fundamentally you. So when you're saying to someone, don't try and change me, you're saying, don't try and change habits. Don't try and change those things that, I want to take on as though it's my identity and it's part of who I am. No, they're things that you do. Do you know what I mean? And I think that that's what is necessary for people to understand, because I have conversations with people all the time, as you know, Paul. Some of you don't know that I'm a mentor and I'm a coach, and I do counseling as well. And when I'm speaking to people and the things that they get upset about, and when we break it down, when we really start to break it down, we realize that these are not things that are fundamentally your character or anything like that. I mean, we all can have character flaws, right? But this is not the essence of who you are. These are things that you actually do, that you've always done, that makes you feel comfortable, makes you feel like, yeah, this is what I need to do. Like, I was speaking to someone recently, and I'm not going to go into all what they were saying, but they were saying, but this is who I am though, Debbie, and I'm in this relationship, and because I'm in this relationship, this particular thing is happening to me in this relationship, in my last relationship. And I said, well, maybe this is something that you need to look at. Is this something that you can give up doing? And they was just like, no, because, and they went right the way back and said, oh, my partner was okay with me doing that. And I said, but that partner, you're no longer with them. And you've gone through several partners who have highlighted a flaw, and you're not prepared to put that to rest. After, when we broke it down, she was able to identify that I don't need to do this thing after all. It doesn't serve me. And in the relationships that she's had, it hasn't served her in those relationships. And it was something major that she was doing, and it caused breakup time and time again. Do you get what I mean?
It's bad habit.
We was talking about pornography the other week. We was talking about pornography, masturbation, all of these things. That's not who you are fundamentally. That's something that you do, but you might say you enjoy it. This is something that I've done all my life as a teenager. But your partner is saying this is something that is not benefiting us at all. It's not benefiting our relationship. So they desire for that to be changed. Through you changing that is going to upskill you. It's going to make you be a better person. Do you get what I mean? And I don't think that people really look at it from that perspective. But we're looking at changes versus upskilling, and what the difference is. You guys put some stuff in the chat. Let us hear what you're saying.
Because you see, what you said there with like pornography, you might say, well, that's just me. I like looking at that. But it's a habit. Yeah. It's from my perspective.
And it's not a healthy one either.
A bad habit. Yeah. Here's what I was reading as well from Psychology Today. Healthy relationships can lessen bad habits. Besides self-concept growth, the self can experience pruning or the lessening of unfavorable qualities. Maybe you were once a loud talker, a nail biter, or a heavy drinker, and being with your partner has changed those annoying or unhealthy habits. Such relationships based pruning is considered a way of improving the self. because it's a skill. It's improving you. If you're no longer biting your nails, isn't that a good thing?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If you're not drunk out your box on the sofa, yeah, you're watching TV together, and all you're doing, you're knocking back. So I don't like winos. I'm sorry, if you're wino, yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize. That I don't like that. I don't like drunk people around me. I like you tipsy, and if that's the case, and you're having a laugh and a joke, but no, sir. Yeah, I met so many. Do you know it's you know where it came from, Debbie? I worked when I was doing security. I met or had to deal with so many drunk people, wetting themselves, vomiting all over the place. I remember lifting someone up, right? And someone said, "Put on your high vis. Just put your high vis jacket on." And all I could hear was this discussion behind me. The person's over, because I lifted them up and put them on my shoulder to take them where I was going to take them. And they're vomiting up all over the place, no control. It's just like, oh man, and this was a woman, I see women, we saw women on the CCTV just walking, I wondered if they got home. I was worried for them. Yeah. Men walking north, east, south, west in one step.
No, I hear you. Going all the way
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. And it don't make no sense to me, to be that drunk.
Inebriated.
And some people in relationships like that their partner, that's you're having a conversation, next thing now, because they're not just tired, but they've been drinking the whole time.
Yeah.
You've been talking. Oh yeah, till they just crashed out, and you're sitting there like, and what? Or smoking weed, and next thing you know, the mashup. Was you listening? Did you hear me? Yeah. What did you say again? No one wants. It's a bad habit. You're supposed to be together, communicating.
But again,
I'm
going to go back to what I said, which is people who have done this for a long period of time, they accept it as their identity.
Yes.
And because they've accepted it as their identity, they feel as though when you are trying to encourage them to do better, that you're actually trying to change the essence of who they are. Do you get what I mean? Let me just
and they say that's who I am.
Catherine said they are babies, they will learn. And I basically responded by certainly need to mature. And Ross, who was on the show last week, well done, Ross, for your input last week. And yeah, we got good feedback on that. That's why people end up staying in relationships, because it's comfort. And you're right, people stay because they're comfortable with what is going on, or maybe they just tolerate, maybe they just put up with that, because there is always something that in your relationship that you can look at and you can think, this could be better, this could be upgraded. And like I said again, I'm not trying to talk about fundamentals today. I'm not talking about flaws in characters. I'm not talking about that, or we're not talking about that. We're talking about habits that people have taken on and saying, why is my partner trying to change me? Why are they trying to change the essence of who I am? Not knowing that this is not the essence of who they are. Like we said in the video, the young guy's talking about how he spoke to his partner. She wasn't happy with it. He changed the way he spoke to her so that their relationship could flourish. Now, he could turn around and say, well, nobody else has had a problem with me speaking to them like this. What's that got to do with anything? Do you get what I mean? You've done that all your life, and nobody's complained, nobody's said anything, nobody's pulled you up. But the person that you've married, who you intend to spend the rest of your life with, is saying, I would like for you to talk to me differently. I would like for you to, speak to me in this kind of way. And you feel like they're trying to you feel like they're trying to rob you of your soul, like of who you are. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're saying to them, I would prefer for you to speak to me like this. And the thing is, do you know what challenges me in my mind is that there are people who want to swear at you, swear at their partner, swear at their kids, but they wouldn't go to work and do that. They wouldn't go to work and swear.
I remember.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Hearing.
But
Yeah.
so that
Go
means you're
sweat
being
their
very
boss.
selective. You're being selective in
Yeah.
who you're swearing at. And if your partner, your children, or your loved ones was to say to you, do you know what? It affects me like this when you speak to us like this. You're going to be like, oh, don't try and change me. This is who I am. Do you know what I mean? If we can really separate the two, then I think that relationships
Absolutely.
will really flourish.
I was reading something else, and I read it: personal growth and development as individuals, age and gain new. They've missed that word. As individuals, age and gain new experiences. Yeah, I think when I copied and pasted it, I missed out something.
You missed that a
Yeah,
couple of words.
yeah. It looks as individuals, age and gain new experiences. Okay. They may naturally evolve and change their behaviors, attitudes, and habits. This can lead to personal growth and development as people learn from their experiences and adapt to new situations, external influences, and pressures. And that, again, with that as well, when I was saying culturally, some of your friends, you know, might act like that. I remember Michael used to act a particular way, and I thought that was the way that it should be that I treat women, because his relationship was working, but there wasn't. There was flaws in it, but I didn't see that. But when I tried to do that, yeah, it all hell let loose, because it wasn't, that person wasn't going to take all of that. All of a sudden, the relationship ended because I was trying to be something I wasn't. I trying to take on something negative to control the narrative and control that relationship to make it last longer. But I had to always go back to when you're saying about the your core or your fundamentals, I had to go back to my fundamentals, because that's who I am. I knew that that's who I am, a loving guy. Let me continue to be that guy, regardless of how someone else was, you know, like, or regardless of what I see. So sometimes your friends in their relationships, it look like it's working, and you take on this bad habit, and your partner's telling you, don't, as he said, don't talk to me that way. Don't treat me like that. Don't do this. Don't do that. This is the person that you say you love. You should be willing to upscale yourself, mature, and, as this one says, personal growth and development, because that's what's going to happen. You get
That's right.
growth and development,
and you're there to support each other's growth and development. And
absolutely.
if you personally are not developing and not growing, there's a problem. Like there's I've got a few things that I've got written down here, really reasons why people might resist wanting to be upskilled, wanting to do better. So sometimes I know this to be a fact, that miscommunication can be the key with some situations, not all situations. So they may not fully understand the changes you're hoping for them to make. So it's important to communicate what it is that you are trying to communicate and why. So for instance, the toilet seat scenario, if you leave the toilet seat open, you flush the toilet seat, all of the mist, the speckled from the water goes into the atmosphere, gets on toothbrushes, gets on towels, gets on everywhere. Now, if you just tell him, close the toilet seat, it's nasty, close the toilet seat, you're miscommunicating. You're not fully communicating everything. Absolutely. For him to understand and make a conscious decision, him or her make a conscious decision about why they need to do it. So the miscommunication or not fully communicating what your desires and needs are is important. Another one, they just comfortable in their own zone and not ready to make changes or see the necessary the necessity to make changes in that area. And when you see that somebody isn't looking to do that, it's pointless. Keep on going on. It's not going to be impactful. I think that we have the ability and we have the responsibility to make changes for ourselves, and hope that that person can see the benefit of how it's going to enrich the relationship. So autonomy. So your partner might feel as though they're losing their identity. And this is what I said, this is why you need to detach the two, because you're not losing your identity by saying, I'm not going to smoke anymore. That is not your identity. That's something that you do. Do you get what I mean? And I know that there's people that see it as their identity because they've been doing it for so long.
I'm a smoker. I'm a smoker. I'm a smoker.
Yeah,
I'm
that's what they say. I'm a smoker. Do you know what I mean? The fear of rejection. So they might fear that changing themselves for you could lead to them losing their identity and being rejected. So, you know, sometimes people don't want to change for you just in case they change like this and then they meet someone else, yeah, and then they're not that person anymore, or that person that people seem to love. So if you're a smoker and sociably you're out there, you know, you smoke your weed and sociably you're out there, people's fear can be, if I change this about me, that larger audience or those people who I go and have my cigarette break with, now we're not going to be in friendship here because I'm going to be in the office, or I'm not going to be around these people because that was the thing that grouped us together. That was the thing that we all had in common. So the fear of rejection can even be there, what stops people from doing that. But again, what is going to enrich your relationships? You know, different priorities. You may have different priorities and goals that you focus on. So the reason why, again, some people might think, well, you know what, like me, I do public speaking and so forth. And so that's not something that my husband would like to do. It's not something that he's ever been passionate about. So if I said, well, put yourself out there like a social butterfly, go and do talks, go and do, you know, be more assertive, be, you know, that bubbly character. There's no, in his mind and other people's mind, there's no reason why you're really going to want to do that or push yourself out there like that, because your priorities are totally different. So I think it's important for us to look at the various reasons why some people are not going to be willing to change, because in order for us to look at that, then we can understand a little bit about, even when we look at ourselves, are there areas that we can look at and say, do you know what, ultimately, yeah, there are areas that I can change, I can upscale, I can become better in this area, with my partner talking to me and saying, yes, this is something that they would like to see me do. We, as well as we looking at other people, we have to look at ourselves and see if there's something that we can do that will make things better for us, better for them, you know, because ultimately it's a two-way street. We're making changes, we're adapting, and they're doing exactly the same. And I think that when we give a little, take a little, give a little, take a little, then it's gonna enrich the relationship. So yeah,
absolutely. 100%. You know, all that makes sense. I was sitting here, I was thinking that though you separate the two, there are still some core situations or habits that you can change as well. You know, because you want, ultimately what you're looking for. It's like a business. Yeah, marriage is like having a business. And the more you invest in it, the more that it grows. The less you invest in the business and you take, or you sabotage, it's gonna just fall apart. You know, I've come to a place where I understand that why get into a relationship or want a relationship with somebody if it's the case that you're not willing to bring or upscale yourself with knowledge, understand. For instance, I now know about perimenopause. How do I know about menopause, women with menopause? Through looking and understanding. And as much as that we do the show, it's enriched me now. It gets me to understand Catherine better. Yeah. When she's telling me certain things like she did this week, and even I think over the weekend she said, I'm just yeah. She didn't say that, but I know what she said, you know. But that's what she meant, that I just feel agitated and moany and groany, and so I try to make it easier for her at times. But I always talk about this washing up thing, because that's an everyday occurrence. We've got 7 of us in here. There's loads of dishes. Stepping in and understanding that she's in a place. But if I didn't know about menopause, I just think myself, boy, this woman's just moaning, man. She's just moaning, just kicking off all the time, and yeah, you know, which would make me less likely to want to stand in the gap. Let me say it like that, or do the washing. Yeah, thank you. It would make me less likely to want to support her, because I'm looking at it from the wrong perspective. Now I've upscaled in my understanding.
That's right.
Of women going through menopause. How many men don't know about it? But I encourage men, go and find out. Yeah, I'm gonna just put this out there so that to make you understand something. I'm not a weak man. I'm a man that loves knowledge. I am a man that likes to understand things. I'm a man that wants to support the woman that I've married and love. I want to. I make a choice to. Yeah. If I throw a scripture in there, it's husbands, love your wife even as Christ loved the church. Yeah. With all the flaws. Yeah. I'm gonna love her. I'm gonna love on her. All the flaws. As the weaker vessel, as the word of God said, that she's the weaker vessel. I need to be tender. I need to lead. I need to be there. I need to stand in the gap. I'm a strong man. I'm a man of God. And to be, if I wasn't even if God wasn't in my life, I'd want to love on my wife, because I have an understanding now of who she is as a female. I'm not in this for the short haul because I didn't like something. I didn't be. I used to be like that. But I've upscaled in knowledge and understanding. And I'm talking to you men especially. Yeah. Upscale yourself. Hold tight to who you have in your life. Because you'll be running around. You got this one, that one don't work. Next one. Or you're holding on to one and you're always arguing and you're just stuck in this rut with this person. As I forgot what his name is.
Ross.
Last week. Ross. Ross said, you know, that you're comfortable. You're caught in a habit, but you're not growing. You're not upscaling. You log ahead, yeah, and then you think that sex solves it. If think about how many times that you've had the sex, yeah, make up sex, and go back to the same issues or worse issues in your relationship. No growth. You're not growing.
Growth.
No growth. There's no growth in that relationship. Yeah. So affirm each other. Yeah. Grow with each other. Encourage one another. Listen to one another. Listen to the.
You need help, you know.
I can't.
Let's see what Ross says there. There is, absolutely. So he's saying, speaking from experience, what if your voice isn't heard? So typically, let me put on my counselor hat now. Typically, the reason why sometimes your voice isn't heard is sometimes because of how it's delivered. Sometimes people don't want to listen to how you are saying it versus what you are saying. So there's been times when I've said, I don't like what the way you've said that. But the fact is, what they've said is true, but I've chased the rabbit. Do you get what I mean? Because instead of identifying and understanding what it is that they're talking about, you pull up on the way that they're actually saying it. But if you think about your partner and the way how you communicate, you will soon realize whether there's miscommunication, whether that person is understanding what you are saying. I said it a little while ago. Sometimes there are various different reasons, not just one, but I find that communicating with someone effectively can be the key. So like I said, there could be that miscommunication. So it's for you to find out why that person's not listening. Are they just stuck in their ways, just their comfort zone? Are they feeling as though they're going to lose themselves, lose something about who they are fundamentally? And you might be able to explain to them, do you know that this is a habit? This isn't like the essence of you. This isn't who you are fundamentally. This is just a habit that you do. Identify what it is that they're doing, why they're doing it, and maybe have that communication with them that is more effectively with the right tones, not pointing the finger, yeah, you do that all the time. You know, the moment you start saying you, it just causes people's back to be up. So what I encourage people to say is, when I'm thinking about this thing, this is how this makes me feel. So this challenges me in this area. This is, rather than saying you do that and this is what it does to our relationship, because you're just, all the blame is on them. Do you get what I mean? But if you talk about how it makes you feel, then people are more inclined to listen. I hope that
It's
that
funny
helps.
you
Go on,
saying
Paul.
that. It's funny you saying that, because I had the same thing in a relationship, and I learned to express myself, but I told them it raw. I told them the truth. I said, when
Sometimes
you talk
people
to me
do.
like the way you talk to me, what you make me feel like is to kick off. I want to kick off. I don't want my relationship to be like that, but I'll kick off. Yeah, or I will end the relationship. Go on then, go. No, hear what I'm saying. I will end the relationship because it's too much for me to be arguing with you about this point. What I'm saying is X, Y, Z, you know, and for some it has worked. For some it hasn't.
Yeah.
And you're now my ex.
I hope that helped. If it didn't, maybe I can explain it in a different way. But I do find a lot of times when I'm speaking to people, it's what they say and what they perceive, what the other person perceives that they're trying to communicate to them is sometimes wrong. Where, you know, if you're communicating effectively, and if you're like, I'll go back to the toilet scenario, explain and break down what it does, because sometimes people have the misconception that somebody already knows how you think and feel. When that sometimes isn't the case. They assume that, yeah, my partner knows. I've had this conversation with someone just recently, and they said, yeah, my partner knows. And I said, have you told them? Well, kind of. And I said, kind of isn't telling them. You need to break it down, like what
Be
you think,
honest, be open, be
what you think and
transparent.
what you feel. And then it turned out that they didn't really communicate everything to the person, because the fear was that that person was going to kick off, that they was going to, there was going to be some form of conversation that they was not willing to have. And so they wasn't fully candid. And you know what, if you're not fully open with someone, you can't expect for them to be, their response to be what you expect it to be, if you haven't really communicated fully your thoughts and feelings in regards to something. Because if you're,
And listening, go on, you
if
finish
you're
it.
giving them part of how you think and feel, they only can respond to what you are saying. They can't respond to what you want them to respond and what you really want to communicate to them, because they don't know the fullness of it. They don't. Do you get what I mean?
Sometimes you need to still listen to that argumentative voice of that, from that person who's not talking to you properly, so you can pick out what they're saying then. And then and also address the way they talk to you, because sometimes when people feel that they're being attacked, they're going to fight back. There's going to be a fight. There's a word that I want, that but when you feel that your back is against the wall, you're going to fight. So sometimes the words that come out of his mouth, her mouth, listen to that and address how you've spoken to me, because you're gonna get the essence of them, of what they're saying in that anger and everything else. I'm not talking about negative when they're saying, you make me feel that every single time you just did it, but you do need to listen. I'm going to tell you that you listen to it. I like to say to people, when people say to me, and I've had it, you always. Now, I'm going to chase that rabbit. Yeah. Is it always, or is it sometimes?
I know.
And people correct themselves by saying, all right, sorry. See, right there, it brings down the tension. It might.
Sometimes people do that. I've been in a situation where it's been different. Oh, you're stuck on words. You're stuck on words, which because I said always, you're jumping on the words. But the reality is, if you say always, then I can hear you saying it.
Yeah.
You never. You always. They're infinitive words, and oftentimes it's not.
Thank you, Margaret.
Yeah, she says
that's the defensive. That's what it was in there, but I couldn't get that out of my mouth. So I learned through the stroke that you use alternative words.
Yeah.
You find other words to throw that mean the same thing as well.
Mean
so
the same
thank
thing
you, Margaret.
Yeah. So
defensive.
I would say that in us coming down and wrapping up, I think that it's important for us to really highlight, and I'm having to do the work as well. I'm not just putting it out there, but I'm having to do the work and have been putting in the work to look at who I am fundamentally. Because if you know who you are fundamentally, when somebody is saying, oh, I don't like this about you, or I don't like that, you're not going to be offended by it. You're not going to take it personal, because you're going to realize the thing that they're saying that they don't like is a habit. It's something that I can change. It's not who I am. It's not the essence of who I am. So, I had this conversation today. I work in the social service sector, and I was explaining to a couple of social workers today that I don't take things personally. So when family come to the contact center and they're peed off, or they got an attitude or something, I don't take it personal, because that just the whole situation of you not having your child and you having to come to a contact center must be taxing, must be challenging, must be hurtful. Having your children taken away, and then you meet them in this environment, and then you have to say bye, and it's a lot. Do you get what I mean? And so what we must remember is not to take everything personal. Don't take everything personal, especially when it comes to things that your partner may be sharing with you that is upsetting them or causing a rift in the relationship, and you realize that, what, I could fold up the clothes. Do you get what I mean? That doesn't make me feel less of a man, or iron the clothes. Don't make me feel less of a man. Do you get what I mean? I could, I was going to say clip his toenails. No, I could, there are things that I mean, that's me saying doing things. I'm versus taking away things in what you do. But yeah, there are things that you can take away from your life, and it's not going to change the person who you are. It's not going to make you feel, it's not going to make you be less of an individual because you've taken those things out of your life and it's benefited your partner, or you've added things to your life, but yeah, that's what I would say. Don't take things personally. Don't see it as that, as your partner trying to change the essence of you. I mean, we can definitely have the conversation about people who try and change you, change, like
manipulate and know that.
Yeah, who try and change you. Like they find you a certain way and they, you know, they want to change your personality. You know, you're just shy, you just don't talk, you're quite timid, you know, and start belittling your character because you're not, you know, this extrovert, and they are. But we can definitely have that conversation in time to come. But that's what I would say. Those
And
that's what I would say.
and my closing words is that, remember, change versus upskilling.
Mm.
The upskilling is going to help you let some of these unhealthy habits that you have in your life go, which will help flourish your relationship, especially if the person is mentioning these unhealthy things. But the core fundamental changes, like you might meet somebody, and I use this one, not to I use this one. Someone who is a Christian and someone who is a non-Christian. Their core fundamentals. This person doesn't believe, and this person believes. That's not a reason to fight. Not that. The other little things, this upskilling, the toilet, the leaving your socks or leaving your knickers or whatever else on the floor, those are the changes that have to take place. Now, if the person who's a Christian becomes a non-Christian, would that make that person happy? If that person who is a smoker, this person now says, well, no, I really don't smoke. That's not my thing. And they become a smoker. Is that going to make you happy? The first thing out your mouth is this is what you'd say. That ain't you. That ain't you. It's a core thing. You cannot change that unless that person chooses to change it. But that's a whole different show. Unless that person chooses. So remember, changes versus upskilling. You should always want to be growing, with the person that you're with, growing together. Look at those people who are old. Someone said it the other day, sometimes they don't even talk. They're just in each other's company. Yeah. Because they understand one another. They don't have to talk. They just know. Or they're walking hand in hand. They're 80, 90 years old and they're walking down the street hand in hand. Yeah. You don't know what they went through. But if you sat and you spoke to them, they'll tell you, yeah, there was a lot of issues, but we worked through it because we grew together. We grew together. That's what you will hear them say. We grew together. They upskilled themselves together. Don't get into my final word is, don't get into a relationship if you're not serious. Don't lead him on or her on. Yeah. You might have children together. Come on, man. You've had children. Yeah. And you're arguing about everything. Your family. You've got a family. Mr. Man, you got a family. Miss, you got a family. Work together and grow together. Society out there is hard. We go through things out there hard. We've got to pay our bills. We've got to do this. We've got to do it. It's hard enough having all of that. Well, and then having this headache in the house as well. Yeah. Come on, men, pull up your socks, man. Our mums taught us how to look after women. And if they didn't, then you should know how to, because it's the opposite of what you're doing. Those are my final words. Sorry, I got a bit passionate there, but it's how I feel.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah, sorry, but not sorry. True word.
Yeah. So Margaret said, that's the key. Don't take it personal. And then she gave a thumbs up to what you was actually saying. And I think that it's important, once again, to really look at the difference between the two and to identify who you are, the essence of who you are, versus the things that you actually do, and the ability to change those things that you actually do, like the habits, those kind of things, in order to benefit and enrich your relationships. So thank you guys for joining us. It's been a really good show. Thank you so much, Paul, for your input as usual. And for those that are in the chat, those that are joining us on Instagram, I hope you know, you could hear us and see us. I know you can chat with us. You're probably over there chatting in the chat and I can't even communicate with you, but I'm going to try and sort it out. We're going to probably do a test run, Paul, during the week and see if we can get that sorted, because it's a couple of weeks now, and it worked first of all, and then it's just not working anymore. But yeah, thanks guys. Thank you, Margaret. I don't think we had you on before. Thank you once again, Ross, for coming alongside us this week, even though you wasn't on screen using the chat. We really appreciate you and thank you.
And remember,
go ahead.
If you like to come on as a guest, please let us know. If you've got a habit, if you've got a topic, if you've got a topic that you want to air, that you feel strongly enough about it, that you want to make it a conversation, please let us know. You know, as I said, this isn't just me and Debbie's show. This is our show, as in you're part of this as well. So any topics to do with relationships, please contact us either on Instagram. What is it? It's Gym Time _ 24/7.
24/7.
There you go. Yeah, I've learned it. Hey! And on YouTube, you can just leave a comment under the last video that you've watched, and I do go on there myself. Anyway, I think you might do as well, Debbie, and look at any comments and stuff like that. So please, if you want to, you know how to get a hold of us. Let us know the next subject, or if you want to come on as a guest. All right.
Yeah, and please subscribe to the channel as well. As we've mentioned before, we're trying to get our numbers up. We're trying to get it monetized. When we monetize, then we can go ahead and do actual real life events. So yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. So please share, please subscribe, let your friends know, let your family know, let your colleagues know that we are here doing Gym Time every Tuesday, 8:30. So yeah, that's it for tonight, guys. I hope that you have a wonderful evening, and we will definitely catch you all soon. Take care for now. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.